Good afternoon, Chamber members, and welcome to the Friday video recap of this week's news and information from the COVID-19 crisis. My name is Mike Paone. I'm the Vice President of Government Affairs here with the Joliet Region Chamber of Commerce. As always, we hope that you, your employees, and your businesses are doing well. This week, we received some good news and a surprise or two. Also, our state senators and representatives have returned to Springfield to address the state budget and a number of other items. So first, let's recap the good news. So the Illinois Joint Committee on Administrative Rules, also known as JCAR, met Wednesday to consider Governor Pritzker's latest emergency rule, which was to modify the Illinois Department of Public Health rules so that business owners could be charged with a Class A misdemeanor for violating the state's stay-at-home order. We are happy to report that the administration announced it would withdraw the latest emergency rule after it had drawn widespread bipartisan criticism as well as thousands of messages regarding opposition from both businesses and residents. We will continue, however, to monitor this topic to see if legislation emerges to deal with a future violation. Governor Pritzker also then announced that he is going to loosen his stay-at-home order to allow more outside activities. This will begin as soon as next Friday, May 29th, as we do move into Phase 3, as long as there are no surprises or setbacks by then. Under the new plan, restaurants will be able to serve patrons outside as long as they follow capacity and social distancing rules. Also, barbers, hair salons, nail salons, and other personal care services can reopen. All retail that was non-essential before may reopen as well. We also can see the opening of office buildings, manufacturing, one-on-one personal training, outdoor fitness with 10 or less people, gatherings of 10 or less people. All state parks should now be open. Boating and fishing will be allowed with 10 people or less. Outdoor and indoor tennis can now resume. And golf courses can now allow foursomes to tee off. A bill designed to expand voting by mail in the November 3rd general election has passed its test in Springfield, clearing both the House and the Senate. Under this new bill, the following details have emerged. If you have voted or applied to vote in the 2018 general election, the 2019 municipal election, or the 2020 primary, then you will automatically get a mail-in ballot application no later than August 1st. If you do not respond, you will receive a reminder by September 15th from the Secretary of State. And if you still don't respond then, a final reminder will come out by October 15th. The actual ballot must be sent out and received no later than 30 to 40 days before the election, and then must be postmarked by November 3rd to count. This bill will then sunset after the November election. We heard some more about the Workers' Compensation Act. Negotiations were taking place to amend the Illinois Workers' Compensation Act, so we wanted to share the latest news that we have learned. The final agreement through this looks to make it easier than the original discussion points for employers to rebut an employee claim. Now, an employer will need to come up with some evidence that the employee could have contracted the virus outside of the workplace. Also, they can show that they've engaged in and followed best practices in the workplace. Some more info. All essential workers can receive the rebuttal presumption. The original proposal would have allowed all workers, not just essential workers, to get benefits. Employers can use the lowest standard to rebut the rebuttable presumption. An employer simply must show that they were following CDC or IDPH guidance and practices. The original proposal sought to impose a clear and convincing standard that was included in the governor's rules. It qualifies that the home or residence is not a workplace. This presumption ends on December 31st, rather than the original plan, which had no end date. And the employee must have been exposed and contracted the virus. Simple exposure does not qualify. The original proposal and the governor's rules did not even require an employee to show that they had contracted the virus. Before June 15th, an employee must have a positive diagnosis or medical test. On or after June 16th, a positive test is required. We also will see here language that will approve and announce the graduated income tax ballot item. And we are also anticipating that by the end of tonight, that a budget will be passed by both the House and the Senate. On the federal level, a debate over whether to extend enhanced unemployment benefits is emerging as a significant obstacle to getting a deal on another round of coronavirus relief legislation. The Small Business Administration, in consultation with the Department of Treasury, released the Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness application and detailed instructions for that application. The form and the instructions inform borrowers how to apply for forgiveness on their PPP loans. The SBA soon shall be issuing regulations and guidance to further assist borrowers as they complete their applications and provide lenders with guidance as well on their responsibilities. Senators did attempt to approve legislation that would make major changes to the PPP program, but ended up pushing the measure out until next week at the earliest. The bipartisan fix would have given business owners 16 weeks instead of the 8 weeks right now to use their loan money and still be eligible for forgiveness on the loan. The legislation would also give business owners until December to apply for the loan instead of the end date now, June 30th. Next Wednesday, we look to see a bipartisan Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act announced. It should be announced on the House floor. The legislation would include forgiveness for expenses beyond the 8-week covered period. It would eliminate restrictions limiting non-payroll expenses to 25% of loan proceeds. It would eliminate restrictions that limit the loan term to 2 years. It would ensure full access to payroll deferment for businesses that take the PPP loans. And it would extend the rehiring deadline to offset the effect of enhanced unemployment insurance. The Main Street Lending Program update. The Federal Reserve is still preparing to lend directly to middle market businesses with a loan of $500,000 at minimum. Final details still have not been released to date, and it seems if it keeps getting tougher to figure out how this will be implemented. The Chamber has created a list of quick links to help members get ready for reopening Illinois. Including in this document will be specific guidelines per sector, including restaurants, home service providers, construction, businesses, gym and fitness facilities, office-based businesses, hair and nail salons, child care programs, camp and youth programs, and schools. Also, it will contain additional resources from the U.S. Chamber, Ready to Open Playbook for Small Businesses, a COVID-19 Workplace Decision Tree, and the IDPH Workplace Safety Guidelines. This document can be found on our COVID-19 resource page, as well as many other resources on opening responsibly. Finally, I'll mention that we have created a form for our members to fill out if they have materials that can assist with the reopening process. The purpose here is to share with fellow members in the community if you have supplies such as masks, gloves, cleaning supplies, office products for protection and distancing, or any other products that can aid organizations as they bring back employees and customers into their facility. This too can be found at www.JolietChamber.com on our homepage. So that wraps it up for today and for this week. We want to wish everyone a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Be sure to stay well. Take care.